Welcome back to another episode of Iron Rage. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined by Lee Priest and John Romano today to bitch and complain about something. I don't know. There's plenty to bitch and complain about.
I want to bitch about you. Why? Who the fuck was more important that you had to interview yesterday? Did I get up at fucking 5 a.m. waiting to do the fucking show, texting you an hour later? Oh, sorry, Lee, I got held up with something.
The only person who's more important than you, Lee, in my life would be my son and daughter and other daughter. So I was actually holding my young daughter because my wife was having a nervous breakdown because of all the orders we had coming in, and then we lost track of time. So I take the blame for that.
Unbelievable. And then this morning.
And I want to know why watching and listening to Dave is like watching a Godzilla movie, because your mouth is moving and the words are coming out.
They're not. Well, on my end, it looks good, so that's all that matters. Because I'm
confusing myself here, even with the cup when I do this. It's going
I have
way.
I have to play the producer here.
What is this program? These boxes, I keep going like this when I think I'm going like this.
Don't leave the frame.
I can't even find my mouth.
There you go. I got to bring up something, okay? Because we're always talking about Kai Greene teasing a comeback, and he's still teasing. He says he's going to compete, and everyone's kind of getting a little sick of it. Mike Tyson teased a comeback, and now they have a fight scheduled. Did you see that, John? He's going to be fighting Roy Jones Jr.
Tyson looks good
in September too. We talked about Tyson before, but he's actually going to be doing it in September. I think that's awesome.
What the fuck are you doing to the screen now, Dave?
I'm changing the views. I want to keep you on your toes there, Lee.
I think it's going to be his training. Look, oh, Jesus, stop fucking with it. His training.
Now we're over here. Now we're on this side.
Yeah. It's like we said, though. It looks really good. He's quick, but like I said, it's like a bodybuilder posing by himself. That I know you're bringing up this shit. No, I got it.
All right, I just froze this. So there we go. So Tyson's going to fight Roy Jones Jr. September 12th. If people who don't remember, Roy Jones Jr. was unbeatable for a while. Remember during the 90s, he was unbeatable. No one wanted to fight him.
Right.
But he wasn't. He was a light heavyweight.
Nobody wanted to fight Tyson either back in the days.
No, but they did because of the big payday. But no one wanted to fight Roy Jones Jr. because he couldn't be beat, and he even moved up to heavyweight, even though he wasn't really a true heavyweight, and he beat a bunch of heavyweights as well. Mm-hmm. And then I think he became he started doing more announcing because like I said, no one wanted to fight him, and now he's 50. I didn't know he was 51. I know Tyson's 54, but assuming the match is legitimate, guys, like assuming that there's no phony business going on. Who wins this fight, you think?
I'd go Tyson just on power, but Roy Jones Jr., from what I can remember back then, he was pretty good technical fighter and stuff, whereas Tyson just comes out full on power. So I think if it's a fair fight, whoever gets the lucky punch in first is going to win, providing Tyson doesn't bite his ear off. So who knows?
I think on that same vein, I think you have to also consider the age factor in that much more easily things break after 50, as I just eloquently exemplified with my latest torn muscle on Facebook. Yeah. So shit breaks when you're expending yourself like that and that kind of high adrenaline, situation. So I think that as an added element to it, the potential for injury in this thing is there. If they're going all out, I mean, if they're just going to be sparring on stage without equipment, that's going to be one thing. But if they're legitimately going to fight, which I hope is still, at least in Tyson's blood, it seems like it anyway, because he's lightning fast.
Sorry, guys.
I think they will go at it because I think they've both got so much pride and still got stuff to prove. Everyone's going to be expecting it. You couldn't go out there and fake it. So I think they're going to pretty much go at it.
Now, who wouldn't pay for this pay-per-view? I mean, everyone's going to want to watch this thing. I mean, just to see, even if it sucks, people want to just see if Tyson has anything left.
I'll tell you who won't pay for it. Half the people, they're all going to go to their, like, say you get Buy It Dave for $60, you're going to have fucking 20 people come to your house to watch it. That's who won't pay for it. Your fucking friends, the cheapskates, whoever buys it first. Whoever buys it first, they're going to have everyone over it. Is John frozen, or is he just like?
I think he's frozen. Yeah, let me kick him out of the studio for a second. Let's see if he can go back in. But you know what the funny thing is?
He's in awe of my new teeth. That's what it was.
Yeah, I know. I was going to just say your teeth look great.
Thank you.
But this is the perfect environment to have pay-per-views, Lee, because everyone's afraid to go to each other's houses because of all the COVID and everything like that. So they might actually sell more pay-per-views than they normally do.
No, you just got to have more friends. We can't really here in Australia at the moment. You can only we're back to lockdown in some states, and now you can only have like 10 people over to your house. Any more than that, but I want you to know next Tuesday the protests are probably going to go ahead in Sydney and Melbourne for Black Lives Matter. That's okay. It's all right.
The funny thing is that who's going to monitor like whether you got more than 10 people in your house? Like, did they have like some kind of camera system on your house?
No, someone got done in the other day. This family, they went and got Kentucky, right? Kentucky, one of my favorite foods. And what happened was, this guy in Kentucky saw him buying all these meals. He brought like 25 meals. So the guy followed him. This guy followed him home from Kentucky, saw where he lived, saw all the people there, and called up the fucking police. And they all got like a couple of $1,000 fine each.
Now, let me ask you a question. I feel like we're going back to Nazi Germany. I mean, neighbors are turning people in, the cops. I mean, pretty soon, they want to vaccinate people. They want to put tattoos on people.
Well, didn't Nazi Germany burn books and pull statues down?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, remember the Nazis tattooed all the Jews, so you would know that they were Jews. Now, John's back. Now they're going to want to
finding a worse platform than
it's my internet. It's my internet. My house sucks because the weather's terrible here. But
welcome back. We're talking about Jews and Nazi Germany now. John.
No, I'm saying I think
you've been gone a while.
This is right up John's alley. I think we're heading towards Nazi Germany again because now they want to tattoo people. If you have the vaccine, if you get the COVID vaccine, they'll tattoo you. If you don't, you don't have it. If you don't have the tattoo, you're not going to be able to get into places.
Exactly.
This sounds like Nazi Germany. And Lee was telling me a story about how this person bought a bunch of like 24 meals from Kentucky Fried Chicken, and the neighbor or someone followed him home and turned him in because you're not supposed to have more than like 10 people in the house at a time or something like that.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? What an arsehole. Yeah. So they got in trouble, and now another place, this pub got fined quite a few $1,000s because there was over 100 people lined up out the front of the pub. They weren't social distancing, but like I said, next Tuesday, they're going to let them have protests in Sydney and Melbourne again for Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, that's until
I'm going to the protest because obviously you don't get COVID when you go to a protest.
Yeah. But doesn't that scare you, John? Don't you think like we're really heading in a bad place?
I don't, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
It's just like anything else. If you disassemble the components and look at them against what you're up against, this is this disruption and this idiotic behavior is not being committed by the large majority of the country. The large majority of the country is sick of this bullshit and can't wait for it to be over. So unfortunately, the political element in this is so strong and so catastrophic that it's so over the top that the average person just can't accept it. They can't fathom it. So this whole thing we're engaged in now between the racial unrest, the virus, the edicts, the government pushing people around, the power given to the states through the governors and the mayors is getting to a point where normal people, as normal as we are fed up with this shit. And you're going to see a revolt. What the government's trying to do and the people in charge of this, they're trying to see how far they can push. Okay, so it's just a mask, it's just a vaccine, it's just 6 feet, it's just a tattoo. It's just when are people going to say, "Fuck no, it's not enough"? It's not just the tattoo.
They're not there because we're the sheep, John. People are
afraid. Where are you not going to be able to go?
I'm just I'm just
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Then don't go. See how long those places stay in business if you don't go.
Because the people are sheep. They're going to do it anyway because they're afraid.
Out of all what John just said, I'm just happy that he called me normal.
Yeah.
I've never been called that before. But if this happens like Nazi Germany, all I know is, look, I've got my diary, I've got my pen, I'm going to the attic.
We'll just call him.
And Frank will have nothing on
Lee
me.
Frank.
And have you ever been to that house in Germany where
it's in Amsterdam? Yeah, I've been there.
Well, no wonder they fucking found her. I went there. There's fucking signs everywhere. Ian Frank's house. It's not. No wonder the Germans fucking found her. It was like fucking house, like fucking.
Did you walk through that house, Lee?
No, I didn't. No wonder the Germans went, where is she? Oh, fuck, there's some signs telling us where she lives. She didn't plan it too well, did she?
Didn't stand a chance, did she?
No. It was like, at least Saddam didn't have fucking signs saying, I'm in the tunnel. I'm in the fucking tunnel.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't see the tattoo thing working. I don't
I'm not getting a tattoo. I'm against tattoos.
Yeah, at least it gets tattooed.
Where do you put Lee's tattoo? I mean, where are you going to clear out
Maybe just here in the swastika on this side. Me and Charlie Manson.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, but all this is going to be over on November 4th. So I don't know what.
John, I don't know.
Exactly.
You know, I don't agree with you because you know what? It's not the whole. It's the whole world. It's not the country. You know what I mean? That's in turmoil.
It is and it isn't. It's the U.S. is always the leader in whatever is going.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. We're following your shit down here. But I know if I get this fucking bar tattoo on my arm and I go to the grocery store and it scans only $2.99, I'm going to be pissed. I'm at least worth $10 fucking dollars. So it goes be $2.99. I'll go, is that on special?
Do you know how fast there's going to be a black market for counterfeit tattoos or whatever? I mean, come on. If you're going to fake steroids, you're sure as hell going to fake,
well, it's not going to be, I'm sure it'll be some kind of like transmitter they put under your skin too. I mean,
no.
Yeah. So they can track you. Although that's probably going to be in the vaccine already.
I agree with John though. Come after the elections, everything's going to go back to we're going to have the he's not my president chance for a couple more weeks, and then we're going to have De Niro come on. I'm leaving the fucking country again, and all
then we're going to have an impeachment, and then there's going to be something else, and then
we tried Russia. Let's try. He was in collusions with China.
Right.
The longer I watch all of this shit go on, I don't think Nostradamus' job was too fucking hard.
Yeah,
I could predict the next 6 years right now if you want.
Well, I've still got my fingers in there on a double-edged sword here. Whether you've still got November, I think wasn't it September 9th coming up? Hillary, he's meant to have this big court date on September 9th. That's only 2 days before the anniversary of September 11th. So I'm still not hoping, but I'm still thinking a mass shooting or terrorist attack before November 4th still. We'll throw in something else.
Oh, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. There's something else is going to happen here. And then you also have this Epstein, thing being investigated, which has crossed over into the Durham investigation. So you've got connections here somehow, and I think the October surprise that we're always entitled to before an election. I think you might see the results of some of this stuff. At least it's been rumored that that the Durham investigation is going to bear some fruit, and on top of that, you got Ghislaine Maxwell ready to name names. You got him; he's causing the Prince of Prince Andrew to get Trump. Lee, you're 60 Minutes in your country's done such a great job of covering.
Oh, did you see that?
John, do me a favor. Give the listeners who might not know, with Maxwell, whose involvement with Epstein and all that stuff. Give us your little collusion connection.
Don't say collusion. This is facts. John knows facts, Dave.
Well,
don't give out too much info because Hillary could be listening.
This
Dave,
is true.
I mean, John, you could check
I
your
could
door.
end up on Hillary's suicide list.
It's like
Yeah,
that meme.
list,
It's like that meme. It's like that meme says, John, if you look through your peephole and there's FedEx there and you didn't order FedEx, be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, exactly. Could be the disgruntled convict. But anyway, the connections, what Jeffrey Epstein is alleged to have done is created blackmail files, insurance policies on all kinds of rich, wealthy, powerful people through the use of these young underage girls. So he's arranges these, these encounters, these liaisons with underage girls and politically powerful, wealthy people. And, what old rich guy in that category isn't going to, succumb to the allure of a 17-year-old girl? He thinks he can have anything he wants. So, right. That's on the list for these weirdos. So, Epstein tapes it, videos it, whatever. And he's got all these files. And it was allegedly how he was able to, maintain control over people's fortunes, like the guy who owned Victoria's Secret and all kinds of other, wealthy people and powerful people. Prince Andrew freaking flies. Come on, Lee, you saw that interview where he flies to New York to break up with him. I can't see you anymore. Spends 4 days in
and then that video of him going to the door, looking out the door.
Yeah, what did he? I didn't see this. What did Prince Andrew do? Supposedly,
he in December, after Jeffrey Epstein got out of jail for soliciting a minor for sex and prostitution, visits him in New York to supposedly tell him, "Look, bro, I can't hang out with you anymore." It doesn't look.
It's like when you're breaking up with your girlfriend, you just go over for that one last route before you fucking break up.
One last one. So he goes. Where does he do this? They take a walk in Central Park.
Yeah, and it's all video.
So there's pictures of him, talking, and Prince Andrew looks all worried. And then Prince Andrew spends 5 days in his house and has this big dinner party, on a trip. And his excuse for why did you stay there? He said it was just a convenient place to stay with a sex offender.
That was a convenient place to stay, and the pussy was fresh.
Yeah.
Lee, how about that he couldn't sweat?
Oh yeah, I like that one too. Yeah, and then he says, then the other one was, I wasn't there because I think I was having pizza with my daughter that night, and that wasn't your daughter, Prince Andrew.
Yeah, exactly.
It might have looked like your daughter, but
So the connection is that there is a trail, an alleged trail of rich and powerful people that extend to not only the royal family, but former presidents, the current president, the
Hollywood,
Queen Podesta, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and there's logs of these people traveling to Pedophile Island, which was Jeffrey Epstein's private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, where he imported underage girls. And so in the process of creating these blackmail files, he's, brought these people to a vulnerable point. And now that he's gone, Ghislaine Maxwell is the only one really who can substantiate any of that stuff.
Where are these files? Do you think they are destroyed?
It's a good question. No one knows where they are.
I bet she's got a backup copy somewhere. It's probably her only that's keeping her.
I think
alive
Blackman's got
moment.
a copy in his file cabinet, probably.
Oh, he had cameras in his office. Don't you worry. You don't want to see what he's got.
Yeah, Dave, you got enough to worry about.
That's true. Yeah, right.
His files will put Epstein to shame.
That's just the ones he let us see.
Yeah.
You ought to see the one entitled "Vegan. I don't like meat." You have to see that one.
or the great meat substitute.
Exactly. No, but it's going to be interesting to see, because I reckon she must have, because did you see that one documentary where they were talking about the place they went and there was cameras in every room hidden behind mirrors and stuff? So the stuff he would have filmed on everybody, you reckon there would have been backups? And if she's got that, well, it's probably the only thing keeping her from committing suicide at the moment, because she's probably given, if I die, these are going to be released by somebody somewhere. So
or that somebody already has them and is making a deal right now, holding her
Well, what I figured was too, it's almost like when they go after drug dealers, they always get the lower life people that sell the drugs. The big kingpins never get caught. So I wonder if she's making a deal somewhere where the big politicians like the Clintons and famous movie stars, bye Dave, won't get found out, but she'll just give little minor names of people, like some little businessman here and there. So they go, oh, look, we caught him. Hey, welcome to the John and Lee show.
like the old days.
Yeah. Welcome to VPX Shotgun.
VPX Shotgun Big Show.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Hey, we're having a moment with the VPX Shotgun show there for a minute.
All right, so getting back, let's bring this back to bodybuilding. So with all the Tyson comeback, obviously everything seems to be, they're going to be streaming it on live stream. Obviously, there'll probably be no crowd there, I'm sure, aside from just the people who are working there. It seems as though, when we get to December, I don't see things getting much better, John. I mean, do you think that going to be what the Olympia is going to be about? Is it going to be no audience, basically? Or you think it's going to turn into a live stream event?
What's the biggest difference between the boxing match? What's the date of the boxing match?
September 12th.
What's the biggest difference between the boxing?
I know you and your election is going to be in November.
I know the biggest difference. The boxing's entertaining.
Yeah. No, but think about it. I don't think it's good, John. It's not going to change just because
this is going to end.
It's not going to end. It won't end because it's all over the world. It's not just our country that's on lockdown. Lee's on lockdown in Australia.
Well, New South Wales isn't, but poor Tony Doherty, he just redid his gym and reopened his gym, and 2 weeks later, they're in lockdown for 6 weeks again. You can only go out for exercise to the grocery store. And now anyone from Victoria isn't allowed to travel to Queensland. You can't come into New South Wales. And on the news last night, they're saying they could be isolated from the rest of Australia for a year or two. I'm like,
you think any of that's really going to happen, Dave? If America just, one day opens up, there's no cases. Now we're going to start reporting it.
But John, there are cases. It's not like there are no cases.
You got to look at that. There are cases, yes, but isn't it interesting how the cases of everything else have disappeared?
I was just going to mention that on the radio yesterday. Here's the breaking news yesterday on the radio. Corona cases in Melbourne. They had 400 more yesterday positive corona, not COVID, corona. But yet, on the same radio news bulletin, breaking news this year, the flu is down by 93%.
Because no one's leaving the house. Exactly. No one's leaving the house. That's why no one's getting sick.
No, it's that.
Last winter, people didn't leave the house, but this flu is always there. Now all these cases.
On the CDC website, it says it right on the top.
No,
it's COVID-19, seasonal influenza, and pneumonia combined. It says it right on the website. Not only that, the chief
people here in Florida are getting sick. So I mean, I know people here who have gotten it. So.
I'm not saying no one's getting sick.
Florida's full of old people. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
No, these are not old people, but these are not old people though.
But what about all the people?
No one is saying no one's getting sick.
Yeah.
It's the prevalence of getting sick. It's the recovery rate, and it's the death rate. The death rate, it doesn't even qualify as an epidemic right now, let alone a pandemic.
I don't know.
So as those numbers go down, testing is going, positive cases are going up because testing is going up. If testing is going up, cases are going up, but the death rate is going down.
Well, there was an article here in Florida that these people received notification that they were positive for COVID. They never got tested.
They never got tested. They went home and they didn't feel like waiting anymore. They got contacted later and tested positive. I know somebody who never got tested and he they informed him via mail that he was.
That happened. That happened here.
He died on a motorcycle. They listed he's in 7 pieces. They listed his death. His head was off. They listed his death as COVID-19. So those numbers, Dave, don't use those numbers. They're bullshit. Right. Yes, some people have it. The hospitals are not overwhelmed.
In Florida, they are. And they're starting to run out of beds.
Yeah, but when you look at that, what happens is the hospitals downsized. They closed entire floors. They furloughed nurses and doctors. They're understaffed, so they can only work at a certain capacity. They're overflowing, not the hospital. They're overflowing what they have available left after the cut down. So the idea that the hospitals are full is nonsense. It's not true.
We had we actually had a thing on the news here, Channel 7, beginning of the week, Melbourne, because this is where the outbreak is again. Hospitals are at capacity, and this guy did a video on it. They showed that video from Italy again, that emergency room. They didn't put up, this is file footage. They didn't put up anything. They said, this is Melbourne emergency room. And it showed the old stock footage. When I got a friend here, he works at the methadone clinic. He works at John Hunter Hospital, which is one of the biggest hospitals in Newcastle area in New South Wales, and he also works at Dave. And he also works at he also works at Maitland doing security.
Oh, Lee's gone too. Now you're back. There you go.
He works at
this program because if my internet sucks, it doesn't stop recording. At least you guys can talk.
now I know how the Brady Bunch felt.
Yeah. But now, as I was saying, my friend does security at the hospitals, and when he goes to Maitland, which is just 20 minutes north of me, he actually works in the COVID section. Every day that he's there, he sends me videos. Look, Lee, it's fucking empty. There's not one person there. He shows me the video, goes, Lee, I'm just sitting here watching YouTube videos. There's not one person in here. Right. And he films it for me. So, but on the news, watch out, COVID.
Right. So because we have all that, when you see on November 4th, Americans no longer involved in COVID, we're starting to impeach the new president or whatever we're going to do. It's good. There's other than a distraction. If we all of a sudden open up and everything's normal, all the numbers start getting back into like a normal range instead of being perverted the way they are. Do you think Australia or all the other countries aren't going to say, "Oh wow, yeah, it is bullshit. We're going to stop doing it too"?
But did you notice
with the first leader, whatever we do, they're going to do, and everybody else is doing.
Well, the good thing was when the first Black Lives Matter thing started a month or so ago, it was good then because COVID disappeared for a while then. So I'm sure it's going to. It's going to disappear again. But you know what is amusing? I find on TV here, Kanye West. Now, how can you not talk about that lunatic? I mean, like, I could have been aborted. I could have killed my child. And
well, Kim Kardashian.
Everyone that has a baby, I'm going to give $1 million to. What the fuck?
Kim Kardashian came out and said that they're separated now. They're living separate lives.
Oh, because he's off his medication and
stuff. He's off his bipolar medication.
I loved it. I absolutely loved what he was saying. It was so entertaining, and it was. Things he said were like right on the money, though.
Yeah. You know what I want to see? I want to see Biden win because he's fucking lost his marbles.
Oh,
I want to see Biden win and Kanye be vice president. Now, there's a fucking. Now that would be entertaining. That would be fucking.
Anyway, getting back to my original statement about the Olympia. Now, with all that's going on here,
we're talking bodybuilding again, John.
Will Lee Priest be able to fly to the United States to compete in the Olympia? Because there's a lot of great international bodybuilders in this lineup, technically, theoretically, and I don't think they're going to be able to come in and do the show. What do you think?
If I'm flying the plane.
Wow, look at Lee. Wow, John, look at Lee.
We'll put you on the totally freaking awesome Lee.
Get him Ron Harris, contact Lee. Tell him we'll give him a contract.
Is
tell Ron Harris to contact Lee.
Is Ron still the only one working for MD, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, Ron thinks he owns half the company, probably.
He might. Steve might have promised him half.
Well,
I'm sure. Unless he was so bored, he had nothing else to do.
As they say, to get ahead, you got to give it. So,
will we see international bodybuilders in this lineup in December?
After November 4th, yes.
You think so? I hope so.
I can leave Australia still at the moment. For me to go overseas, because Aaron wants me to go to Spain and England at the moment. Right. I got to send in an email to the government, and then they have to. It says it takes about a week for them to say whether your job you're going to is deemed totally necessary. Mm-hmm. But then when I come back to Australia, I got to pay for 2 weeks in a hotel quarantine.
Well, at least I got to give Australia credit. At least when they say they're going to quarantine you, they actually quarantine you. If you fly from like New York to Florida, you're supposed to quarantine for 2 weeks, but there's no one enforcing it, so it's a self quarantine. So I mean, you got to be a fucking moron to think that like anyone's going to stay in a hotel room for 2 weeks.
Here they do. Like they'll get your information. They'll find out what hotel you're meant to be in. And a couple of people have been caught already. One guy got fined the other day because he went outside for a cigarette. So
really?
They've actually brought the army in. The army are policing some of the hotels.
Wow.
if you do get, like, say, come up positive and you go to hospital and then you go home, well, even now, because of this new thing from Melbourne, they're actually telling people, if you've been somewhere, like there's these hot spots now at a restaurant, if you're at the restaurant or these hot spots, you get tested. But even if your test results don't come back, you still got to quarantine for 2 weeks. Right. And they're coming door knocking to make sure you're home. Are you home?
And are you wearing a mask?
I know you're in there. I know you're in there, Mrs. Frank, in the attic.
Yeah. So, Lee, will you or will you not do the Olympia this year? That's the question on everyone's mind.
Well, I've sat down. I've spoke to Kai about this. We've had a big discussion. And
can we get a yes or a no from you? Come on.
Excuse me, I've got to go into depth here. Because the women's bodybuilding has come back, and Kai looks so good in his new reality show dressed as a woman, I shall announce it now. The IFBB is bringing back the couples routine, and Kai and I are doing the couples. It's going to look like Gary. I'm going to look like Gary Stridham, and he's going to look like Diana Cadu. We're going to be like a couple.
What you should do is you should take that original video of you and your mom guest posing, and start the routine with that, like on a big screen in the back, and then then you flash it, and now it's
forget that, John. How about Van Solomon just hires Kai and Lee to do a couples routine together? Except Kai's got to dress as a woman.
That would, you know what? If Dan could think that far out of the box, that would be. I would bet more people would go to Vegas to see that than they would go to see anything else.
It'd actually be beautiful, wouldn't it? We can make it start off sensual and then get really rough.
We're gonna have him. A couple of bushels of grapefruits you can bring out on stage.
Oh, I'm bringing the whole fucking fruit salad, John. I'm going full bukkake here. This is like. But could you imagine? Actually, what John said was,
who would could you lift Kai though for the final? Like in Dirty Dancing for the final scene.
That'd be beautiful. He'll come running across and I'll grab him, and
you can hit your victory pose while you hold him over your head,
and then turn around like no one puts baby in the corner, and then we'll get a standing ovation. But what John said about was my mother and I, we could do that because they have those new apps now where you can put your faces on different things. So
you'd start out that way and morph it into present.
Well, I got the nose pickers knocking on the door, so that means we're at the end of another episode of Iron Rage, guys. Have a great one. Thank you for joining me on a Thursday. I know we usually record on Tuesday, but
it's Friday here. It's Friday here. It's just turned 6 a.m. 6 a.m. in the morning. It's good.
Give us a little, just before we leave, let me see those teeth again, Lee. The new teeth.
Oh, the new teeth.
Wow. Very nice. Very shiny.
The thing is, normally some people, when they get veneers, they get them all straight, so it just looks like a picket fence.
Yours look real?
Already shaped them so they look like.
They did a good job. Yeah, you got some good choppers now, Lee.
Hey, that's like $12,000 worth for free.
He got his eyes, John. He got his eyes done, his tattoo removed, his teeth done. What's going on here? Is he having a midlife crisis or what?
Tattoo removed.
The face one. The face is gone. It's gone.
Oh yeah, look at that. But it's
John didn't even.
What do you got over here?
He can't get the eyes taken off because he'll go blind.
I can't tell watching this thing because everything's backwards. This bit here, here, this bit here, and that bit. If you get that done, you got to go to another place where they put this metal contact in your eye, because the laser being that close will penetrate your eyelid and burn your eye.
Think about how much aggravation he has to go through because he got these tattoos on his face, and now he's got to get them off. You're lucky they took them off.
But who said I'm not going to get another one?
I don't know. That's the wonderful thing.
It's not aggravation, Dave. That's like me saying, think of the aggravation you went through because you got some kids now. It was a good idea at the time, wasn't it? Let's have a baby. Let's have
I can't get rid of mine. You can. Unfortunately.
I had the tattoo for 13 years. You got them for 18 years. So you've got them.
You're right.
You're making room for the COVID tattoo is what you're doing.
True.
Exactly. I need it. I'm going to get on my forehead. I told you. you? But yeah,
you're not taking these off.
No.
I got all these ones. Look.
Yeah, them.
All right, well, guys,
there you got a little spot right there.
I gotta go. I'm wrapping up. I'm Dave Palumbo here with John Romano and Lee Priest for Iron Rage. We'll see you next week, guys.